Algebraic expressions, Part 1. Algebraic expressions contain at least one variable and at least one operation. For example, the expression n plus 2 represents the sum of an unknown number and 2. Any letter can be used as a variable. For example, here we have k plus 4. K is our variable. It represents an unknown number. The letter x is often used as a variable. To avoid confusion with the multiplication symbol that looks like the letter x, there are other ways to show multiplication, which you've seen in class. We have the dot to represent multiplication, parentheses, and then if we have a number and a variable next to each other with nothing in between, that also means multiply. So all three of these things in these boxes mean the same thing. They mean 5 times x. And you do need to write that. The variables in an expression can be replaced with any number. Once the variables have been replaced, you can evaluate or find the value of the algebraic expression. Let's try a few problems. The first one says, evaluate x minus y if x equals 85 and y equals 17. Well, my first step is going to be to rewrite the problem x minus y. That way I know exactly what I'm doing. And then I'm going to plug in the numbers I'm given for the variables. So if x equals 85, then where x is in our problem, I will write 85. So it's 85 minus whatever the value of y is. If the value of y is 17, then I'll plug 17 in where the y is, 85 minus 17. And then when I subtract 85 minus 17, I get 68. So, our answer to the first one is 68. Now, if we try the next one, it says evaluate 5n if n equals 1/2. Well, remember, here, because there's nothing in between the number and the variable, that means we're going to multiply. However, when I plug in my 1/2 for the variable of n, I need to write some form of multiplication symbol. It could be the dot. I could put the 1/2 in parentheses. Personally, I chose to use the dot to represent multiplication, so that's how I wrote it. So now 5 times n becomes 5 times 1/2 because n equals 1/2. And we know how to multiply fractions. We have to write our whole number as a fraction, check to see if we can cross simplify. We cannot, so we multiply straight across. 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, and I get 5/2, which is an improper fraction. And so that means I can and need to simplify. Well, to do that, I'll do 5 divided by 2. 2 goes in 2 times with a leftover of 1. So 5/2 equals 2 and 1/2.